So I was on Twitter the other day. Yeah, this might be one of those videos. You know how Twitter sends you things they think you'll like. So for me, it may send me some Wheel of Time content, some Brandon Sanderson, some Stephen King, because it seems like all I do on Twitter is interact with, book readers and authors and things like that. Well, it sent me some Wheel of Time content that made me a little angry. The post said something like this: Egwene is a bad character, and if you like her, you're a fool, or something like that. And it just had me triggered. I was all ready to go back, all caps, and reply to said tweet by whoever this was. Then I paused for a second, said, no, first of all, it might be a troll that just wants the attention, and I don't want to feed on that negativity. So I said, oh, I'm done with this, scrolled along, as most of us should in these situations. Well, it just kind of stuck in my craw for a little longer, and I said, okay, I'm going to make a rant video because I don't like hearing this. I see all the time on YouTube and Reddit and Discord just this hate for a character that I love. And I wanted to make a rant video for it, so I made a rant video for it. This is not it. The rant video was so negative, and I'm a positive person, and I don't want to put negativity into the world. So this is take two. So instead of a rant video, what I want to do is examine Egwene, her character, and for me to say why she's not a Mary Sue, why she's a great character, and frankly, why those of you that feel opposite of me, frankly, are wrong. That's about as negative as I'm getting. It's just telling you that you are wrong. So listen, watch the video. If you feel at the end you're still an Egwene hater and you hate the character and I didn't make any good points, let me know. And try to change my mind, because I'm going to try to change yours. So this will be mostly spoiler-free. There's only one spoiler that I'm going to talk about that happens in the very early stages of Book 1 of the Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World. So most of this will be spoiler-free. I will be as vague as I need to be to make sure that those of you that have read it know what I'm talking about, but not spoil it for any of you that may want to read this book series. So I have 5 scenes that I have chosen from the series that I think show what Egwene is all about and show that she is a very consistent and compelling character with complexity that is not worthy of your disdain. So, scene 1 is Ravens. You may not know what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. In the paperback version of The Eye of the World, but not in my hardcover version, there's a short story called Ravens, which happens before the action of The Wheel of Time by several years. And what we see is Egwene and Matt and Rand and Perrin and all of our Emond's Field people that we love much earlier. I believe Egwene is about 9 years old in this tale. And much of it is told from her point of view. And what we see with this character is we already see some of the very firm core beliefs that she has. First of all, we see a very intelligent character. We see a highly precocious character. And a character that is frankly ambitious. As a kid her age in this bucolic village of Emond's Field, the only thing that she can do to contribute to the village is to be a water carrier, which means she carries an empty bucket all the way down to the river, fills it up, brings it back to the village. But Egwene, because she knows she's smart and she is ambitious, knows that she wants more. She wants to be wisdom. She wants to be the youngest person to ever get her hair braided, signifying that she is a woman. She wants to do all of this earlier. So we see this young Egwene, how ambitious she is. We see how intelligent she is. But we also see when she realizes that she's not going to be a 9-year-old wisdom. They're not going to braid her hair as a woman. She sees that she is going to be relegated to the role of water carrier. So her resolution is that she is going to be the best water carrier the village has ever seen. So right away, we see with a very early case of Egwene, we see some of the pillars of her personality. We see that she's highly intelligent, highly ambitious, but also is going to work at wherever she is to reach her goals. So scene number 2 that I'd like to discuss, this is the only one that really has any kind of spoiler. And this is scene number 2. It's at the very beginning of book 1, which is Eye of the World. And unlike the show, any of you that have seen the show, when Matt and Rand and Perrin leave the village with Moraine, Egwene had to go in the show. Well, in the book, that's not the case. Egwene was not invited to go. She insisted on going. In fact, she stood up to Moraine, one of the scariest women in the world, and basically put her foot down and said that, no, I'm going. Because again, we see that she is ambitious. She sees an opportunity to maybe get away from this small village and to make something great out of her life. She sees that goal and immediately does whatever it takes for her to achieve that goal, which in this case means that she's going along with them and she isn't taking no for an answer. So again, that just deeply informs us into the core beliefs of this character. Scene 3. In an early book in The Wheel of Time, at the end of an early book, Egwene experiences a highly traumatic experience. And it darkens her personality a little bit. It could not. Those of you that have read it know what I'm talking about. It's kind of horrific. But what it also does is it causes her to start to have more of a laser focus of what she wants to do with her life. And I think, again, it takes these pillars of her personality and it just focuses them. Because of this horrific act that happens to her, she does not want this to happen again. So the ambition does not change. The work does not change. It's just heightened. And you see that quite immediately with some of the things that happens to her character in the next few books. Scene number 4 is the scene that I fell in love with this character and the scene that is my favorite scene from her in the entire series, and that's the I have Toe. To explain what that means in a spoiler-free way to the people that have not read the book, she is essentially confessing and apologizing at the same time. The people that she is directing this to are some people that are helping her realize her ambitions, trying to make her better. And although the time spent with them and her goals of bettering herself, I'm trying to be vague here, her goals of bettering herself, none of what she did was necessarily wrong. But what I like most about this scene is we see in this thirst for knowledge that she has and this striving, this ambition, that there's still a moral compass there. Because this scene was not necessary, except for the fact that it was necessary for this very deep and complex character that is not just an ambitious woman, but someone who does have goals, but still realizes she wants to achieve those goals in the right way, in the honorable way. And that scene for me is when I took a character that I just kind of liked, and immediately she shot up the list to one of my favorites in this series. Okay, scene number 5, much later in the series. Just to say vaguely, this is when Egwene comes back to the White Tower. Now, this is the scene and the sequence of events that I often see people talk about. This is Egwene's Mary Sue moments. This is Egwene being less of a character, and this is where people give her a lot of hate. And here's why I think they're wrong. So everything we've known about Egwene as a character, if you think about what I've discussed already, she's highly intelligent, she is ambitious, and she will do anything to reach her goals while still holding a firm moral compass. You have to realize when these Mary Sue moments happen to her, what has been going on the weeks and months before this event. She has been with Swan Sanche, the Amerlin Seats, and we see a few of the scenes. We see a few of the scenes where she is peppering Swan for advice and questions and stories and just trying to learn as much as she can. If there's one thing we can all agree upon, is that Egwene likes to learn. She likes to get all the knowledge that she can. Can you not take the little leap of deduction that says that, well, even though we didn't get it on screen, they were together for several weeks, she probably did this every single day? That's what I feel. We got a lot of it. I distinctly remember one scene where Swan is actually exasperated because she's just tired of Egwene just throwing all these questions at her. I think it happened for weeks, if not months. So that, again, when Egwene is thrust into this moment, that she's ready for it. I think all of that leads all the way back to the very beginning points I talked about, that she wanted to be ready for her moment. We always look at artists or athletes, and all of them hate when someone says that they are an overnight success, because they don't know about the weeks, the months, the years that they've trained to be ready for that moment, to seize that moment. That's what I feel that happens with Egwene here. This is not a Mary Sue, or to quote one of my favorite booktubers who disagrees with me on this point, I think his words were Mary Sue YA wish fulfillment bullshit, I think is how he put it. I couldn't disagree more. I think that everything that we've seen with this character, the core beliefs of her character, has led her to this moment so that she can truly thrive. Okay, those are my 5 scenes and my 5 points. But I'm going to give one in your favor, those of you that don't like Egwene as a character, and that's Gawain. Of the 2,700 characters or whatever in Wheel of Time, if I had to list my top 5 characters that overstayed their welcome, Gawain is 1, 2, or 3. I got 3 in my head. So I get it. The fact that Egwene, this great, ambitious, intelligent person, enters in a relationship with this horrible character that I hate. If you like Gawain, I'm sorry, I disagree with you there. But isn't it realistic? Don't we all know in our personal lives, we know some great woman that ends up with some idiot of a guy? So why are we hating Egwene? Why are we not also hating like Hermione Granger, who ends up with, just a walking sack of insecurity called Ron Weasley, another horrible pairing in fiction? Why are we hating Egwene because of that relationship? But I will say I can't stand that character, so 1 point in your favor. Okay, this was quick as it was meant to be. First up, if I gave any of you that did not like Egwene at the beginning of this video, if I gave any of you something to consider that you hadn't considered before, please let me know. I like knowing that my videos, are worth the time that I take to shoot them. And number 2, if you're one of those Egwene haters or don't like Egwene, think she's a Mary Sue, not a good character, and I didn't change your mind, change my mind. Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to discuss it with you. Chances are I won't change your mind, you won't change mine, but maybe we'll find some common ground and maybe consider some things that we hadn't considered before. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. As always, everybody, thank you for watching. Please like this video if you did like this video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Goodreads for other content. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.